probably gonna get canceled man here. Hopefully not. Okay, anti-Semitism. Uh-oh. Yes, that's a bad thing. What is it, though? In this video, I'm going to say all the things I shouldn't say about it. And more. Because, why not? Now, the thing is, there's a lot of this sort of vocabulary I've noticed in the modern day and age. The anti-Semite has been around for a while, but then there was Islamophobic. That was pretty new as a development of a thing that somebody could supposedly be and something that you could be labeled as. It's not enough to be called racist or bigoted or whatever. We have to have like separate labels: homophobic, transphobic, whatever the bleep phobic. And I don't know if we need these words or not. We have them, but it seems like a way to potentially attempt to shut down critique rather than say, okay, look, you're against this person because of this thing and not for any other reason. So somebody that is Jewish by birth, that is not something that somebody can do anything about. So if somebody is against that, then I would say that is anti-Semitism, that is being bigoted, that is being racist. That you're against somebody for a trait that they cannot control. You're against somebody that, let's say they were born with a weird birthmark, and it's like, I'm against I just don't trust people with weird birthmarks, because I'm very bigoted against that. I just maybe I had a bad encounter with somebody with a weird birthmark, and now I just don't want to be around them, and I don't want to talk to them, and I don't associate with them, and I just automatically assume that they're up to no good. That's rather bigoted. That's rather sort of racist. That's sort of narrow-minded thinking. So that's how I would view the word or the idea of anti-Semitism, anti-Semite, being against the Jews. Something else would be, denial of the Holocaust would be maybe a little bit anti-Semitic, or it could be in another category. It could be just you're kind of dumb, you're conspiracy nutsoid. I don't know. But is being against the religion of Judaism, is that anti-Semitic? It can't be, right? I mean, because we need to be able to be against a religion without being against the people. And the same sort of thing comes with Islamophobe. Oh, you're against the Muslim thing because they're Muslims, because they're brown people. No, not all Muslims are that color. Not all Muslims are in the Islamic religion. With Muhammad and all that. Many are, but not all. And no, but there's good ones of them, good people out there. And the Islam religion is a religion of peace. Like, well, it doesn't appear to be that way. They're certainly not behaving that way. A lot of them, but some of them are, and how many of them are good? And it's like, well, I'm not really worried about the good ones. I'm worried about the bad ones. But again, that word Islamophobe comes up, and you're just shut down and criticizing the religion because you were criticizing the people. It's like, no, the two are separate. So can you criticize or be against the Jewish religion without being an anti-Semite? So perhaps some definitions might be in order to some degree. All right, so we've got, just from Google itself, anti-Semitic, hostile or prejudiced against the Jewish people. Okay, It's pretty clear cut, but it's not very deep. Let's see if we can go a little bit more deep. Wikipedia seems to be okay. Here's anti-Judaism, which is said to be the total or partial opposition to Judaism as religion, and the total or partial opposition to the Jews or as inheritance of it, by persons who accept completing systems, beliefs, and practices, um, and consider Judaic beliefs and practices inferior. Well, I'm certainly against the religion, but not against the people. So I'm not anti-Judaism, but why is it called that? That it seems like, okay, well, I have to call it something special in order to make sure that people know what I'm doing or not doing. So here comes that. So there is actually a terminology, at least according to Wikipedia, for this, and that is criticism of Judaism. This is seen as uh, uh, simply the criticism of Judaism as a religion. And no, I'm reading the wrong thing again. There we go. Okay. Refers to the criticism of Jewish religious doctrine, texts, laws, and practices. Early criticism originated in their faith, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so criticism of Judaism is what you have to make sure you're saying. I am doing criticism of Judaism, and here's the problems with the religion. That way, I'm not an anti Semite, because I don't want to be that, because that's a bad thing to be. And then there's this rather long uh, uh, PDF I found and I linked to. It gives definition of anti-Semitism, talks about all sorts of things and whatnot, and whether or not it's correct or not, who knows? But I'm going to go with this and say, let's assume that the definition is at least close to being correct. Anti-Semitism refers to prejudice and or discrimination against the Jews as individuals and as a group. Anti-Semitism is based on stereotypes and myths that target Jews as a people, their religious practices and belief, and the Jewish state of Israel. Now, see, I don't actually agree with this. I think, why couldn't you criticize Israel in and of itself without being anti-Semitic? Why can't you criticize the religious practices and beliefs without being anti-Semitic? I do agree that targeting the people that happen to be Jewish by birth or by choice is incorrect. But I don't see how criticizing anything else could be labeled anti-Semitism. So this I don't necessarily agree with, but apparently somebody thought enough about it to write it up. So yes, the Jewish people have been through a lot throughout history and all that, and they've received the bad end of the stick, and they've also been the stick bearers at different times, and this sort of thing happens. Same thing with Christians and non-Christians and atheists and Muslims, and every stripe of human has been subject to something bad at some point in time. Prejudice against a person or a group because of X thing, where X thing is something that they cannot control. That's, I think, a bad thing. That I am against certain religions or practices of religions shouldn't be considered a bad thing, although the people that hold to that religion might indeed say it is a bad thing. I don't think that dragging somebody to the edge of town and stoning them to death is a very good system of justice. Yet, that is prescribed by Jewish law way back when in the Torah and the Old Testament. Same thing. different sort of. But anyways, it's not done anymore. Okay, good. Well, why? Why did they stop that? Well, depends who you ask. You'll get different answers, but it's good that they stopped it. I don't agree with animal sacrifice to please the god. I don't know why a god would need animal sacrifice, but the Jews stopped this as well because, well, the temple got taken down. So if the temple was rebuilt, many Jewish people would go back to doing animal sacrifice. So that would be bad, I would say. Is that anti-Semite to say that? To say, look, I think it's wrong to do that. I understand that your religion says that it's a good idea, but I think your religion is wrong about that. I think you should change that. You can change your religion. So you can, in my view, criticize a religion or ideas without criticizing the person themselves. We want to avoid the ad hominem, the attack on the person. We want to attack the ideas, ideally. We want to attack the ideas of the group or the individual, not the group or the individual. It's like you could have, let's say that 90% of all Christians were nitwits. Okay, that doesn't mean that then, therefore, it's wrong. It doesn't mean anything. It's just like, well, they're all nitwits. Yeah, and, well, that doesn't mean anything. It's like, I've had all sorts of insults thrown my way. It's like, oh, you slur your speech, you stutter, you can't spell, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, and I'm like, yeah, okay, and what's your argument? What's your argument? I'll say the things that I shouldn't say because you shouldn't say them. Because I'm told, don't say that. Well, then I'm going to say it. Why not? Well, you're not supposed to. So what? So what if you're not supposed to say it? Why? Well, because you'll be viewed in this bad way. Words only have power when we give the words the power. And I completely understand somebody insulting me is meant to hurt my feelings. There is no single word that I know of that somebody could utter that I would say, oh, that hurts to hear that word. Oh, the humanity. You're not allowed to say that word. It's like you're only the people that are this race of, that are this group, whatever, are allowed to say, fill in the, river dance for white people. That's our word. Nobody else can say river dance. From now on, you must all, if you are not white, you must call it the R word. Isn't that silly? It's like, well, but you have no reason for that. It's not been historically used to be prejudiced against you. It's not been used to hold you down and keep you down. And it's like, yeah, but I mean, if people are singing about it all the time in song, and I enjoy the song, I'm not allowed to say the word because I'm not white. I'm not allowed to say river dance, It's like, yeah, well, And, of course, there's the N word, right? Which I'll say if somebody wants me to. I don't care. Because I'm not saying it at a person. It's only, the way I view it is, it's only racist or an insult if I use it at a person. If I say, yeah, you suck and you happen to be Jewish, I'm not saying that Jews suck, I'm saying you suck. But all these like arbitrary rules that people come up with about language and what you're allowed to say or not allowed to say or how you say it or whatever, and it all just seems like, really, what is it we're trying to protect? It's like, well, We don't want people to be bigoted against people. Understand. How do we fix that? By outlawing or making it socially unacceptable to say X, Y, and Z? That seems to be how we're trying to do that, but is that really working? Is that changing anybody? Is that stopping anybody from being bigoted? Is it stopping people from being racist? If not, then that approach obviously isn't working. We need to do something else. I don't know what that else is, but if we can't criticize a religion or ideas of a religion or traditions or beliefs or ideas because they happen to belong to a group of people who have been in the past or in the present persecuted, hurt, whatever, well, then what is left to go after? Because Christians do that too. Oh, we're being so persecuted. Oh, woe is us. Yeah, you atheists are always making fun of the Christians. Leave us alone. Go attack somebody else. It's like, look, I'm gonna go after things that aren't logical. That's the thing I do. And I'm also gonna say things maybe you don't like. And okay, now what? What do we do about that? Well, why don't you like it? It seems emotional. Some emotional reason. Okay, fine. But how are you going to get me to change my mind about saying whatever the thing is? By appealing to emotion, by appealing to social norms or whatever? Or you say, well, this leads to this leads to that, some sort of slippery slope sort of thing or whatever. Or maybe we could say, okay, you don't want to get people, you don't want to entice people to do something bad. Well, no, I don't. But somebody might do something bad and then blame me for it. They could. They could do that and blame anything for it. People have done bad things and said God told them to do it. They've done bad things and said the devil made them do it. People have done bad things and said it's because they don't believe in anything. Anyone can say anything. Does that mean anything? You could confess to a crime that you didn't commit. Is that coherent? No, it's not a brilliant thing to do. You could do it. There's some consequence for doing that. But does that tackle the problem of anti-Semitism? That people will be, oh, look, the Jews control Hollywood. No, they don't. A significant number of people might indeed be Jewish in a number of Hollywood-related things. That doesn't mean that they, quote, control, end quote, Hollywood. I think I put the end quote before I was done, but whatever. It just means there's a lot of, it's like, oh, the sinister organization control. It's just a conspiracy nut. But you're also anti-Semite because they happen to be Jewish. Like, the white man's keeping us down. Okay, are you anti-white? Whatever that word would be? Or are you just a conspiracy nut? I don't know. But I will go after Judaism, its religion, its beliefs, its practices. I will not go after the people. Unless the person, is a jerk. I might go after them on a personal basis. I probably shouldn't, but I might, Because, again, the idea, the argument is what should matter, not the person or group that's making it. Somebody might indeed label me anything that they want, and people certainly have in the past, and I'm sure they will in the future. And I'll just say, as I've said before many times, that's nice. What's your argument? And a link to my blog as well. That I had a whole thing on this that I called I am, whatever. So what? You know, I'll link to that as well. All right. Thanks for listening. Post your comments below. Tell me how wrong I am about everything I said. Or, make a new account that nobody will know you as and post that you agree with me. All right. Bye.